Hey everyone, it's Lucas, also known as Panluck to most of you. It's finally time. It's finally time to talk Punduction properly and give you a presentation of what it is. So, to start off, Punduction is an application aimed at improving the production quality within the FDC. Not just for ELF, obviously the organization I'm part of, but for different TOing groups and organizations around the FGC. It's going to be released on a free license and hopefully a premium one as well for those that want to support me. But it basically aims at making things easier, more efficient, and overall better from the production standpoint for the FGC. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it and show you this project of mine has been going on for quite a while at this point. Here is Conduction V1. So as you can see from the get-go, I went for a pretty sleek design. Obviously, I'm pretty new to designing things, so this has been a big challenge, but the whole principle about Punduction was trying to design something that looks good, is very usable, and allows the user to very easily get around without having to look at instruction manuals and such, just get a good grip on the application itself. But we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this application and going to go to the production tab. As you can see in the production tab, there's a lot of things to actually look at. So we're starting off with there's multiple different types of outputs and multiple different types of scoreboards that you can use. You can pull data directly out of SmashGG events right now. As you can see, we're on the SmashGG scoreboard provider, but there's also the option to use CSV files, so raw files. You're able to load a file in and then use that instead of SmashGG. There will be other scoreboard providers coming in the future. So there are plans and there is some work being done on it. I say there is some work. I'm doing some work on it. Challenge will be the next one, and then after that, I will be working on including Challenger mode as well, and Battle5 if someone finally tells them to get an API, public API working. But there'll be more than just those, just to ensure that the FGC is adequately covered, because I know not everyone needs a SmashGG, not everyone like it. So Challenge is probably the best alternative to have in there as well. Okay, so let's actually get into how this application functions in its workflow. So to start off, we're going to need a SmashGG event. So I'm going to take this event from the talented folks in Bristol, UK, Wasteman Wi-Fi, one of the premier UK online events. Go give them a follow if you are able to. So we got that URL. We drop in here, press load, bang, tournament's loaded. Easy as that. Cool, now that we've loaded the actual tournament, I've switched over to OBS so you guys can see an example scene. This one's from the Lockdown League, literally just using it just to show how this works. Since I'm using a JSON output type, which feeds directly into HTML overlays, I'm going to start the server first. So there we go, server started. You guys can't see a little window pop up, but it's just a simple HTTP server that starts up. And we can fill out the players. So let's say we grab China 2 and myself. You can't see the drop downs because of the way OBS captures it. But we do that. Let's say set the scores to 2-1, and yeah, we'll run with that one. Leave tournament commentators as Abominable and Mob for the time being. We save the scoreboard, and then if we actually go to refresh, so I'll hide the source and refresh this. As you can see, this has now been populated. So Abominable and Random Mob as per the actual app. Now, if we switch over to the in-game overlays, you can see Tekken running in the background. The name bars have been populated as well. Simple, easy, and then if we change it to anything else, let's say I would change it to Felix and Vertigo, save the scoreboard again, refresh the actual scene. So I have a shortcut for refreshing the browser sources. There we go, that has now been refreshed. And it appeared on the overlay. The next feature I want to talk about as well, if we go back to the caster screen, as you can see on the actual Punduction, we have something that talks about character art. So this is the sort of creme de la creme of the actual application that we've been advertising for a while now. I know this is a Street Fighter event, but we're just going to populate it with the Tekken images, because that's what currently is in the directory. It's just a directory of PNG images that I have put in there. And obviously you can put in any images that you want. Street Fighter images, KOF, etc. It's just whatever images you want on there. These images will populate onto the actual player cards and work from there. So what we need to do is we press fetch data. This means this app contacts SmashGG, gets the head-to-head and recent placements for those players. If we save the scoreboard now, and we go to the actual player cards source, as you can see, this has now been populated. Vertigo and Felix, they've played 2 times in recent history. Felix won 100% of those times, and you can see the different recent tournaments they played. Obviously, they're big fans of Westman Wi-Fi, as any of us should be. But yeah, that's the player cards, and you can put anything in the background. The background is normally just transparent, so I have a rolling background, but the browser source we're using is transparent. Of course, you can populate the CSS and any overlays you're using either through text or JSON. That's entirely your prerogative and entirely up to you how you want to do it. It's quite flexible with how you want to populate data. You just simply use the correct properties in the script, or if you're using text, you just use text sources. But yeah, that's the basic functionality of that. Cool. The last thing I want to talk about is this little ticker over here. So the ticker settings right here, they're disabled right now, but if we enable it, and we change that to update to say 5 seconds, we can force it to update as well. So we can just do update ticker. As you can see on the overlay below, it has updated the text file with the most recent sets that have happened. So in this case, this is the last 5 sets that happened within this tournament with the scores. And this, I'm simply outputting this into OBS as a text source that scrolls. There's like a scroll filter that I'm using. Very simple, very effective. You can update it manually. You can get it to update every 5 minutes, for example. Entirely your prerogative again, and you can output into JSON, XML, or raw files, whatever you prefer. I think raw files are probably the easiest way of using it. But if somebody wants to use it for actual HTML sources, again, the application is fully flexible and allows for that. Okay, now that we've went through the entire presentation, very small bits that I haven't mentioned, but those will come at a later date when we're finished. I want to talk the future, because while Punduction is perfectly usable and has been perfectly usable for a while, with minor bugs here and there, there's plenty of things I do actually want to add to this application. Namely generating brackets, not in a way of like tournament hosting generating brackets, but in a way of being able to show the bracket as it stands on stream. So let's say if you want to show the top 8 bracket or the top 16 bracket, the application should pull the data from Smash to show it. There is also a bunch of things I want to do with adding countdowns and timers to it, so the user just can add those to OBS without having to start another application like SNAS. Don't get me wrong, absolutely love SNAS, but it would be nice to have it integrated into one application. There's also things like refining how it pulls data. I'm not going to bore all of you with all the details, but there's a bunch of things I still want to do. Some simple, some more complicated. I'm trying to prioritize as much as I can. Things like hotkeys and such are kind of necessary to ensuring a good workflow, so those will come first, but there's a bunch of like other smaller features. I hope all of you enjoyed the application. If there's any TOs you know and you think may require help or just want to improve your processes, please tag them underneath this post. Please spread this as much as I can. I've put months and months of work through quarantine into this, burned out on creating this multiple times, and I want this application to reach as many corners of the ODC as I can, because I've done production, I've done casting myself, I've done creative stream assets, and I know it's difficult work, and anything that makes it easier makes this whole experience, and especially the TO experience, that's often doesn't reward you in any way. It makes it easier. It takes a lot of stress off of you, especially if you're doing everything solo. So I hope you guys share this as much as you can and spread it. I don't get paid for this. I will have my donation page at the bottom, and if people want to donate to it to fund my coffee drinking habits while coding this application, they'll be appreciated. But there will be a free version that people can use without any donating any cost whatsoever. I can't fully say when that will be. I'm getting close to the point where I'm satisfied with the amount of bugs being fixed and the efficiency of the application. So I reckon possibly a few weeks to a month if we're lucky. I can't fully drop a day yet. I don't want to tie myself into a schedule. But yeah, we're getting close. This is the big step. This is the presentation of it. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you all for tuning in to watch my rambling about this application. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care, stay safe, and remember, Punduction, it's production, that's not a joke.